Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is my hope that you are fine wherever you are. I'm also okay. Allow me to welcome you to another episode of Raw Politics. This video will be brief. It's just to notify you that Fred Okengo Matiangi has been named the presidential candidate on Jubilee Party come 2027. He is also been appointed the deputy party leader, deputizing Uhuru Kenyatta, and of course been named as the representative of the Jubilee Party in the so-called united opposition. Whereas nothing is surprising here, there are those who are wondering why Uhuru Kenyatta is so keen on having a candidate in the 2027 election. And that is what I'll try and answer briefly in this particular video. If it is a topic that interests you, watch till the end of the video. And of course, if you do find value in our videos, consider subscribing to this channel so that you are notified whenever we produce videos of this nature. I have told you here, not once, not twice, that Uhuru Kenyatta never believed that he should retire from politics. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand me. There is nothing wrong with being ambitious even after you are out of office. We have leaders world over who have even retired from the presidency only to go and contest for very funny posts. There are people who are still serving and working actively even after retiring from the office of the president. So there is nothing wrong with being ambitious. However, in the context of Uhuru Kenyatta, is a unique case because the laws of Kenya, if you're looking at the Presidential Retirement Benefit Act of 2012, it is clearly stated that a retired president cannot be actively involved in politics, let alone leading a political party 6 months after retirement. But Uhuru Kenyatta is still the leader of Jubilee and is very active politically, to the point that he wants to have a candidate in the race. And all these have everything to do with the fact that Uhuru Kenyatta believed that he doesn't deserve to retire, that he should still have a say on how Kenya is governed moving forward. I told you in a video that that is why he went for Raila Odinga, not because of his love for Raila Odinga, not because Uhuru Kenyatta loved Luos. No. The record proves otherwise, and I shared with you in a video where I detailed the relationship between Uhuru Kenyatta and the late Raila Odinga. What happens here is that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted a stooge, somebody through whom he could continue to govern behind the scene. And because he didn't get that, because Raila Odinga did not win against Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta never gave up. In fact, I shared with you that he was even very optimistic that Ruto's government was not going to last past 6 months. And so he was saying Raila Odinga and others should prepare for another election, that William Ruto was not going to be in power. Uhuru Kenyatta has never hidden his desire to continue ruling behind the scene. And I repeat, it might be legally wrong, but morally, you can't stop somebody from being ambitious. And through this, Uhuru Kenyatta has settled on one Fred Matiangi. He wants Fred Matiangi to vie come 2027 or to be part of the 2027 opposition candidature. And this is what I mean. Either Matiangi be the presidential candidate with Kalonzo as a running mate, or Kalonzo the presidential candidate with Matiangi as a running mate. If he doesn't get Matiangi to be the candidate, he can settle for Matiangi being a running mate. And why is this very important to Uhuru Kenyatta? 3 things come to mind. One, like I said, Uhuru Kenyatta wants to have a say in government. And so he is persuaded that if this particular coalition was to win and Matiangi is his stooge and may be the president or the deputy president, he will still have a serious sway. And that is what Uhuru Kenyatta wants. He wants a serious political sway, and he believes he can get it through Matiangi. Meaning, should these people win the election, Uhuru Kenyatta will have a say in that particular government. That is number one reason, according to me. He wants to have a say in the government that he believes these people will form. But in the worst case scenario that they don't form a government, Uhuru Kenyatta still wants Matiangi to be in a position of bargain. And this is what comes to mind. You see, if Matiangi is on the ballot, chances are that Jubilee Party, a party through which Matiangi would be vying, or through which he would be like deputizing Kalonzo Musyoka, that Jubilee Party might get a lot of seats from Kisii. And these seats are very good for bargaining with President Ruto. Because Uhuru is looking at, if Matiangi was to get these seats, it is the same as if he is the one having the seats. Because Jubilee Party is literally his. Even if Uhuru Kenyatta was to resign today and stop being the party leader of Jubilee, he would still find a way to be in charge of that party. Uhuru wants Jubilee to have more MPs. And he believes that if Matiangi is pushed to the level of candidature or deputy candidate, then many people, especially Kisii, will vote for MPs on Jubilee ticket. And they can then use the Jubilee MPs to bargain with William Ruto after 2027. That is what Uhuru is concerned about. That, in my opinion, is the second reason why Uhuru Kenyatta is pushing Matiangi to be a candidate or a deputy president. The third is about taming Rigathi Gachagua. You see, Rigathi Gachagua is making it very clear that the United Opposition is his own vehicle, that he controls, he runs the show there. It is him or him in the United Opposition. The only way Uhuru Kenyatta can have a say in that United Opposition and at least find a way of taming Rigathi Gachagua's influence is through Matiangi. I told you, Matiangi is not somebody Rigathi can shout at. He is extremely arrogant, just the way Rigathi is. So they are cut from the same cloth. It is difficult for Matiangi to be taking orders from Rigathi. But the fact that they are united in the so-called United Opposition, he will have a say. Now that he is coming as a presidential candidate into that opposition. He's not just coming as somebody who is still not sure of what will happen. Matiangi is now getting into that opposition as a presidential candidate. That gives him voice. He can speak what Jubilee's mind is, and he can make demands, or he can vote the way he wants. And that gives Uhuru Kenyatta what he wants, what he desires, which is control in that United Opposition, which in a way ends up taming one Rigathi Gachagua. Just as a recap, ladies and gentlemen, here are the three reasons why Uhuru Kenyatta is pushing Fred Matiangi to be a presidential candidate come 2027. One is to give Uhuru Kenyatta a chance to continue ruling this country through a proxy. Uhuru Kenyatta has not hidden his desire to continue having a say on how Kenya is governed. Even though he served his 2 terms, he believes he is too young to retire. So if he finds a stooge like one Matiangi, so be it. And if Matiangi was to win, then know that Uhuru now has a chance to extend his term. The second reason is for purposes of bargain. Should the coalition, the opposition, lose to William Ruto, in a way, Uhuru Kenyatta would have added the number of Jubilee MPs, because he believes if Matiangi is on the ballot, whether he is the running mate of Kalonzo or is the presidential candidate, majority of voters in Kisii will overwhelmingly vote for members of parliament in Jubilee. And that way, if Jubilee has a sizable number, then Uhuru, the leader of Jubilee, and Matiangi can then use that to bargain with William Ruto post-2027. The third reason, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, is that Uhuru Kenyatta wants a way of taming Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua has dominated the so-called United Opposition, dictating how things are run, ruling out people or even dismissing certain people. With Matiangi jumping into this united opposition as a presidential candidate with a voice, with the backing of Jubilee, he can then speak what Uhuru's mind is during their meetings. And that gives Uhuru Kenyatta a way of taming or reducing the popularity or the control one Rigathi has on the so-called united opposition. I hope you found value in this video. Like I said, it was a short one just to tell you why Uhuru is pushing Matiangi to be the presidential candidate come 2027. And if you want to know why Rigathi Gachagua really doesn't like Fred Matiangi, watch this video.